Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Tilted Talk. We took last week off, but, we're back, ready to talk some Fortnite, some Season 10 action. A lot of good stuff for you guys lined up this episode. We have a VOD review from someone named Kel Nishi, so we're going to be diving into that. And instead of doing a competitive gameplay like we kind of had the last couple times, we're going to go into a more casual sort of game. Like, this is going to be a squad game, so I'm super excited to get into that. Then there's some news, some patch notes, and as always, hot takes and clips of the week. And if you guys have any questions, make sure to drop them in chat for us now and over the course of this episode, and we will get to them at the end of this show. All right, Trooper, you ready to do this?
Yes, sir. Let's do it. I'm excited to see the a little different from our usual vibe review. So we get to see how this team dynamic is going to work. With the guy Kel Nishi, I believe, if I'm saying, yeah, I am saying that right. So only one way to say that. But that we haven't gotten, I think, any squad gameplays yet. So This is going to be really fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So let's hop into this, and we will break this down for you guys. So just a regular squad game. Now, with trios coming up, there are some similarities between squads and trios in terms of how you kind of use your teammates and how you position and how you take fights. It's not quite the same as duos. Like, getting one knock in a duo generally guarantees you the victory in that fight or in that skirmish, whereas in squads, that's not necessarily the case. And I think in trios, that's not going to be the case so much either, at least from what we've seen so far. So it looks like they're going to land kind of in that back area there by Paradise Palms. I'm not really sure what that's called, like the little Midwest town or something.
I want to say they used to call that Mexico, but then they called it what did they call it? I think it's had a few names. Westworld, I think, is now the current name, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Westworld. Gotta love it. It does kind of look like have that old Western vibe to it. So it's honestly a fun place to land. I land here sometimes when I'm playing squads with my friends.
I always love the POIs that are this size that not really a POI. It doesn't have a name. So it's an unnamed location, but it has so much loot, so many areas for you to check out, and a lot of room to fight. So plenty of materials as well for you to boot. So these types of places are pretty underrated.
Yeah, no, definitely, because it's, a much higher percentage chance that at most you're going to find one other squad here. Although when you do find another squad here, it is kind of frustrating because there's not that much loot. It's not like Tilted or Mega Mall or something where you can all get, relatively kitted before you get into that fight. But it doesn't look like there's any other squad here. So they're just going to kind of, mine and loot and all that sort of good stuff. Have a good time, try and get themselves all set up. Actually, I lied. There is somebody else here. Get some nice shot on that guy.
They definitely suspected it, but you could see they were wrapping around the building to look for them. Oh, just barely gets that guy down when he has no mats to deal with the second guy. I want to see if they're going to be able to fight these two guys off. I only did see those two, but now with the teammate going down, he's going to have to fight him off with no health and no shield as well.
Yeah, this guy's in a really bad spot. He's got no mats, he's got no health, he's got no shield. He's in trouble, so they're going for the quick game end there, seeing if they can find anything on that player. They do get a couple stink grenades, which is actually pretty good at this point in the game, or any point in the game, really. But just the fact that if you have them trapped in one of these buildings or you kind of know roughly where they are, you can throw that stink grenade and get some damage down. And there we have it. He uses that stink grenade pretty effectively there to take that guy out, throws the third one, and it looks like that's going to be all she wrote. The other team is now out. They're spectating them, so...
Oh, we found a med kit in the corner. Perfect. He was looking for that. He caught it. You see how he did the double take as soon as he caught his eye caught that in the corner of the room?
Yeah. That was super. That's super clutch in this situation because right now, obviously, he's in a really bad spot. They did lose a teammate, but this early in the game, that's no problem. You will be able to use one of those respawn vans somewhere and bring him back. So it's not.
I am that teammate. I am that guy that's already out at this point. We are all him.
Yeah. I mean, when I play with my friends, if I'm the one who dies, then we're usually done. But
yeah,
if I was playing with anybody good, then I would also be that teammate.
Yeah, that's the best when you are the best player of your friends. So that when you die, they're like, "Oh, let's just all commit suicide and we'll restart." But yeah, if you're kind of middle ground or don't get a lot of kills or just kind of tag along, yeah, you got a long way ahead of you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank God that they put these respawn vans in. I know we talked about it a lot when Apex initially came out with the respawn system, but this was definitely a big pain point for a lot of people
Yeah.
who liked playing with friends, right? Like, what do? Do you make this guy watch you for 15 to 20 minutes, or do you just end the game? Like, I'll jump off a mountain, or build up and then jump off and commit suicide. So they're going to be able to bring him back. That's fantastic. They have an incredibly long way to go, though. And, the one thing with Season 10 is there is a little bit less mobility than there was in the last season. Like, you don't have those vents you have the vents, but not the I'm trying to think of what the slipstream.
Yeah.
The slipstream isn't quite as pervasive over the whole map as it once was. So you see his teammates there have already started to make moves running forward, but he's decided he wants to continue to loot a little bit, finds a golden revolver.
He has kind of a lot of nonsense right now. I suspect he definitely needs a little bit of an all right, now he's getting his opportunity to at least do a little bit of management on the inventory here.
Yeah, he definitely needs to do some swaps and
drop that AK, which I was going to say he had 3 ARs. He definitely didn't need all that.
Yeah, 100% he did not. But he doesn't have a shotgun yet, so that's a bit of a problem. He does have the revolver and a sniper rifle, so hopefully he's got a good shot, because otherwise he's going to be in some trouble here. But if he has a good shot, then this is a pretty effective.
It feels like you're fast forwarding.
It does. I think he's fast forwarding the VOD himself. He fast forwarded the VOD himself, which
I think he ate one of those chili peppers that make you really fast.
Oh, a red hot one?
I believe that's what it was, which never worked for me. I'm always like, I always have full health when I find them, so they don't do anything for me. I can't it'll say cannot consume.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, there you go. The advantage is to being able to consume a red hot chili pepper.
So like maybe I should stop camping so much. It seems like the main problem is I always have full health. I gotta get more into the action.
Yeah, definitely. It's more fun that way. But they are in a little bit of a fight here, and he's hunting a player down. Nice way to build, take out the wall and then kind of build, looking to see if that guy's on the other side there. I'm gonna put some stairs up, and again, he's just kind of building wherever he goes to make sure that if he does run into a player around a corner, that he has that build advantage. It's his build. He'll be able to edit it and take that other player out. The respawn van is right here for them, so that they want to bring that teammate of theirs back, but they have to be careful, because obviously that is going to, it's pretty obvious that they're doing that, and they definitely want to make sure that they don't get taken out while doing it, and then all of a sudden just trade one teammate for another, or potentially just not even get him back and just lose the second teammate. But right. He is back here now, so this is good.
Yeah, that's probably the good course of action if you lose a player in a location that has a van. Maybe rotate to a new location with a different van, just because it's going to be a lot harder for unless you win, overtake that entire location on the map and dominate every other team. You're probably going to get pushed and not have any time to really get your teammate back. So it's usually a good idea to rotate and just try to at least get the next closest one in that chance.
Yep, definitely. And the storm did catch up to them, so hopefully they're all going to be able to take.
They're going to just miss that rift, aren't they? Oh, barely.
Oh, they just got it. They just got it.
It still had a backup just in case.
Yeah, there was a second one there, thankfully, but that was close. And they are taking quite a bit of storm damage here. Like, this first storm doesn't really do that much damage, and they've already taken quite a bit. It does actually look like a couple of the teammates did miss that rift and had to build up the other one, because they're still way behind there, or at least one of them is.
Now, there could be some apples nearby where there looks like the trajectory where they're going to land, possibly. Yep. So they could use those rather than like, for example, using right now, you can see the med kit in his inventory, and good old Factories is back. Just gotta love to see it.
So heartwarming. It makes you feel all nostalgic and
and then
you
see the opposite of heartwarming. Now we have to look at this, which you could see using that scout sniper rifle. I use this tool first game I found it, I won the game because I used it never to shoot at people, only to find the storm, rotate, stay in the center of the ring at all times. And I ended up winning the game with 4 kills. It was super helpful and almost too helpful.
Did you see people that you just elected not to shoot at, or did you just never see?
Oh no, I wasn't purposefully avoiding people, but just I engaged whenever I saw somebody, and then I pushed the end game. But using that scout sniper rifle, like, every chance that you can when the storm comes up, you can just put yourself in the best possible place, center of the next circle, so that you have the best chance next time it goes anywhere for you to rotate. It definitely has no use though when it has nonstop moving storms though.
Yeah, at that point
I dropped it. I was like, all right, well, this is now useless, and there's also no room to use it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Like, snipers are a great item in the first, 3/4 of the game, and they significantly fall off at the very end stage where there's just not enough space or time to snipe.
But that's the thing. I picked it up solely for that scout that scout tool. I wasn't using it to try and snipe people on purpose because I knew that it's not like I could one-shot people anyway with it. So I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to lure people to my location. I'm just going to use this for what it is and kind of use it as a utility instead, which I think a lot of people are going to end up doing.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like that's a much smarter way to use it, or to kind of get shots on the brute like we just saw there. He did miss a bunch of shots on the players behind him.
Yeah, but you don't want to piss them off and lure them to your location.
No,
you do not want to get or attract their attention.
That is true. They are very, very strong right now. But these guys are these guys are in a really bad spot. Like, they have people on both sides of them. We saw him sniping at the guy behind, but a nice kill taking out the floor with the SMG and getting those final shots on that player. So that's going to be an insta elimination. That team is now dead, and that is actually really, really big because they have those players pushing up from behind them as well, and they definitely didn't want to be in a situation where they were fighting on two fronts, right? Like, that's how you lose the World War. So
yeah, exactly. And now he's also out of mats, which is crazy at this stage of the game. You can't be that low, and he did win a couple fights already, so it's surprising that none of his opponents seem to drop any. And now he doesn't even have any materials to shield this revive attempt that he's going for. So that mech they were shooting at earlier, better hope that it doesn't pounce on them.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was the squad that had the mech. I believe it was a little bit hard to be 100% positive, but it did look like this was the squad that was using that mech. So I think at this point they've got to be really worried about the players coming up from behind them. Again, they lost another person, but there is a respawn van directly behind them. But there isn't that much time actually. The storm is already moving, so they've got to go quickly. See, I'm just trying to mine here a little bit, but I don't know if that was necessarily.
He did pick up a launch pad though.
Okay, well, yeah, then
from
that
that
launch pad
guy's floor that he shot out. 99% sure that one of those purple things he picked up was a launch pad. He might have to solo this out for the rest of the time. I don't know. Oh, dude, you can't go back and get that revive. You got one med kit. At least, oh, man. Is this how the VOD ends? He dies in the storm?
I really hope not.
This is tricky. So he can... All right, so he's still got one tick. So they could possibly get out of here. He's going to put down that launch pad, get the save, but they're going to land with like 10 HP left. Oh, and now he's gonna heal up. Okay, and his teammate had a launch pad, so he didn't even have to use his.
Yeah, his teammate though. This is a mistake that you see amateur players use that you should really like. If you guys are trying to learn a little bit from this, make sure you always build at least a couple ramps first. Like get that little extra bit of high ground. Yeah, exactly. Because
I mean, granted, he doesn't have much time. He gets taken back up to 30 health, so he has to really move as fast as possible. But still, like you said, I mean, even 1 or 2 makes such a big difference with the maximum height that you're going to get from the launch pad.
Yeah, I think he would have been able to survive anyway. And then you see that his teammate there had to burn the campfire just to stay alive for a little bit. Now, this is actually that campfire is going to stop working for him very shortly because this storm is going to lock in place. And then they're going to start taking 2 damage per tick instead of just the 1. Still got a long way to go. Like this is a dicey situation. I'm not
a fan of the storm management in this game. They've been just on the run this entire game, and hey, he ends up finding everything he needs to keep going. And I gotta say, this is all these chests that he's finding. These are saving him right now. This is extending the game. If he didn't find these chests right now, I don't think he was going to make that.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he would have. You see him here just trying his best.
He's going to be the last man standing.
Yeah, so it looks like he's going to be by himself because his squad mates are all dead, which is just unfortunate. Now, at this point, I think he does have enough health, and he probably just wants to save that last Band-Aid.
He still has no mats, though.
Yeah.
He just bursted right through that tree, so that was definitely helpful. It's too bad you can't mine the material for bursting through the trees, right?
Right. That would
have got him a quick 90 for wood.
That would be pretty strong. I feel like they would be even stronger than they already are if you could do that. But now he's just going to mine up, which is good. This is actually pretty necessary. He really needs mats.
This is his priority right now. He can't even revive his teammate at this point. I'm pretty sure his teammate's card's in the storm. Oh no. It's looks like that his teammate got farther ahead and then taken out.
One of them did, yes.
Reading that map.
Another one is still in the storm. So
I think I'm misreading that map. No. I'm looking at what the reboot van is being marked as. I thought I was looking at what his card was. Never mind. Yeah, I don't think there's any chance he can get his teammate back.
Yeah, I think they have the one card from the fight at Dusty.
Yeah,
I think they have that player's card still. So I think
I think that's where the icon comes in on the right. You can see up in the name.
Yeah.
I I don't know if he's going to be able to pull that off. When you're you only have 8 people left to fight against. They're going to hear. I'd say this stage of the game, they're going to hear any vans going off, and that's the only one I think that's left is in the middle of the final circle.
Yeah, which is a little bit risky, but at the same time, this is still a very big circle for there to be 9 people. Like in competitive games, you always see the circle be way, way smaller when there's this number of people left, right? Yeah. So I think the fact that there's so much space, this is an opportunity he has to try and go for, except he's been beaten to it by another squad. So it doesn't look like there's only 2 squads left in the game and he's got to play against. It looks like there's at least 3. Now, he's just going to hide in the bush. Season 1 strategy here for the win, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, look at that guy. He's
campfiring.
Snipe, bro. What are you doing? Oh, he does get 1. This is why I don't snipe, dude. This is what would happen to me. The guy's basically standing still, and you can't get him in 1 hit. That drives me crazy.
Yeah, well, the storm.
But I mean, the guy was
weak too, right?
Yeah, and the guy was strafing back and forth. I'm wondering if that guy had almost no mats. Like, he didn't suspect anyone being behind him because he would have. Why not build all 4 walls around when you put that campfire down?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Definitely a bit of a rookie mistake on that player's part, but because the Kelnishi here did not have a regular sniper rifle, he just had the Storm Scout sniper rifle. This is the point in the game where that kind of really falls off. And you really see like that could have been an easy knock. And instead, it's just now people are aware of where he is and he's in trouble.
I wanted him to. I know he's used it as cover, natural cover, but he should have mined up that RV. I know it's not much, but he has no metal material right now, and I mean, any would help at this stage. Hey, heading towards the block, ending the game here. This place has the most amount of materials you can get anywhere, I believe. So it makes it super easy. And now he's got multiple shots to take. He's only going to be a nuisance at this point.
Yeah.
But now he's smart. He only connected 1 shot. What's he going to do? He runs straight back and then to the side. So he's kind of trying to rotate around and making sure that they just don't see where he went and just suspect that he went completely in the opposite direction towards the storm, not knowing where he went. And now popping up over them. Yeah, there's no way they weren't going to be able to see that. Hopefully he can get away with this.
Yep, definitely. And you see, he is actually just going to land here on the respawn van, which is actually hilarious. He's going for the revive. This is ballsy, ladies and gentlemen.
He owns 1 wall in this whole structure, so he's got to think carefully here.
Oh, yeah, and he can't really spend the mats either, right? Like, it doesn't make sense for him to blow a whole bunch of materials until at least the respawn van comes back online and he knows for a fact that he can use it. But
it does. His opponents have no explosives because this thing would have been bombarded with explosives by now. I feel like I'm not wrong about that. They saw him. They connected with shots. They clearly saw him land in this hut that isn't his. So, and man, he's actually going to pull this off. Kudos. That is amazing. Especially the walls were just getting shot out before he attempts it.
Yeah, I can't believe they didn't bother trying to shoot out the second wall either. There's, you see his teammate is back in the game.
Give him those minis. Yeah, that's.
Oh man,
what is? They're just getting right into it, and more people got revived because now there's 10. 11.
Yeah, there was 11 for a little while. So that respawn van that was used just before he got there, clearly they got 2 revives off, and only 1 player or 2 players got taken out again, and then he brought his teammate back. So that's how we're at 10.
I love how they immediately split up. Like his teammate didn't have full shield, and they immediately split. And he doesn't offer him the minis that he can't even take himself right now.
Not good teammate
that was an
etiquette,
oversight.
Sir.
Just
not good teammate etiquette. Like, gotta help your friends out in this game. You know,
I want to believe that he said, "Here, take these minis," and he said, "No, we got people to kill," and he just ran off. Hopefully that's the case.
Yeah, maybe. So he knows there's a player right above him right now, and there's also a player right there. Nice shot, but he's just gonna run. So he's playing a real hit and run strategy, honestly, for most of this game. Instead of trying to pick a fight and get fully engaged into it, and there's the storm flip.
That kills that guy that he connected that 80 with. That's gonna kill that guy, unless that's the guy that threw it.
Unless that's his teammate and his storm, then yeah.
Very true.
But those things are super strong, especially if you waited maybe 1 more circle to when the circle gets even smaller. Those things are incredibly powerful.
So much natural cover in the block.
Yeah, this version of it especially is like very material heavy, very cover heavy. But he's just hiding. And his teammate's still alive too, which is remarkable. His teammate with a pistol and a dream has managed to stay alive while other players have been taken out. So at this point, there's 5 enemies left. They know there's at least 2 squads, probably a 2 and a 3, or potentially 3 squads, 2-2-1. It's hard for us to know right now. There's been nothing. We haven't seen 4 players in one instance that we could be positive that there's a team of 4.
All right, it's
looks like. Are they going to go for this? Are they going to go for this? This would be even crazier.
Yeah, it's going to force them down into their area. So, it looks like they're going to make the push.
It does look like that is the case, yes. And they finally kind of have reunited. They're back within striking distance of each other, so that's good. You always want to make sure you're relatively close to your teammates. I mean, obviously, you can kind of spread out a little bit to try and get different angles on a fight, but you never want to be so far that you can't help each other with the same opponent if you guys are getting shot at or both in trouble and under pressure here. But they built up around themselves. Materials-wise, he's not doing great, but honestly, at this point in the game, it's not super rough. He's got about 100 mats left, 130, so he's got 13 build, or 230, excuse me.
Oh, he's going to torch this guy.
Jesus. Math is yeah, he's pushing up on him right away, blowing some of those materials to kind of get the advantage in this fight. See him just trying to knock down these builds as quickly as possible. Nice job there to dodge the build edit. And that player has to leave at this point because the storm is coming.
Yeah, that player got out and up really quickly. Oh, but it looks like the storm might have taken him out, and there goes the final kill. His teammate survives in that endgame with the handgun, so kudos to him. I'm sure he looted up after that first kill he got, but damn, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that was an impressive victory at the end there. They managed to pull that off. There were quite a few issues and things that they could improve on, individually and as a group. One, better storm awareness, making sure that they're not constantly having that pressure. Now, it's obviously hard in the games where you land and the first storm is basically on the other side of the map, and you're like, well, I guess we're running across the entire island this game.
Kind of
those are kind of unfortunate. But in those situations, you have to be very smart about the fights you take. And although you might want to stick around and loot for a little bit longer, that can actually be a detriment. Especially, sometimes you'll find that one item that makes that whole thing worth it. But this wasn't really the case for them in that. Like, he found a gold revolver, moving a little bit earlier, getting further ahead, then maybe he would have been with the team a little bit earlier at that Dusty fight. They would have been able to kill that other squad more quickly and move on and out from that area. Only losing one person instead of losing 3 people, and then having to have him make that miracle play at the end there to kind of get his teammate back. And obviously material management as well, just making sure, especially in non-competitive games where you don't have that siphon, you really, really need to make sure you're mining as much as possible and stacking those mats and building up as big a pool as possible so that you can use it. Although at the end game, he did have enough to stay alive, so... Yeah,
they ended up winning, getting the dub. Yeah. But it all comes together where they ended up getting such a far. They went all the way south. Got to think about this. Pretty much where they landed in Westworld, completely the opposite side of the map from where they were, flipped symmetrically. You have the block now where the endgame circle is. So now where they have to land and where they have to traverse to, all that comes together with why he wasn't able to maintain a good amount of materials. They were caught up in getting in too many fights, trying to I guess get material and loot that way. But their teammates didn't have much to go on. So they were caught in these fights and had to they were stuck running the whole game, and there was not going to be any time for him to really mine any material. So that's why, that bad landing can really just spell disaster for the whole game, but they managed to pull it off. I mean, the way he stayed hidden in that end game kind of picked his spot. And I mean, I had no idea that he was actually going to be able to pull off that van. I thought that was just going to be nothing more than a tease, but he did it, and it helped him completely. And ended up being a brilliant play at the end. They split off immediately, and each went to a different end of the block, each from both sides, and just closed in on them and got that victory royale.
Yeah, it definitely paid off. And yeah, I mean, it's just difficult when you have to traverse the whole map, right? A little bit easier than at the very beginning of Fortnite when you literally just had to run on foot. Now there's, launch pads and there's some vehicles that you can pick up and all sorts of things like that. They didn't get any of those other than the launch pads this game. which
just
saved
like
their
I
lives.
said.
And those chests saved him.
Yo, they 100%. That kept the entire game going. Those chests somehow always go unlooted on Lazy Lagoon. There's like 5 chests along that shoreline that always go untouched.
Yeah.
But man, I mean that was impressive. As far as keeping it together and staying poised with just the worst type of situation that you can have, trying to be stuck and having to run across the map with now less things for you know, or less mobility on the map for you to travel with. So yeah, I was definitely happy with how he finished in that one. Slow start, but they finished strong.
Yeah, absolutely. So shout out to Kelnishi. Good job on the game. Good job on the victory. Congratulations. And now let's get into the news. So the first thing, patch notes. Pretty underwhelming. A lot of people are not happy about them. We'll get into that.
Can I take a nap real quick?
We'll get into that a little bit more later. But basically, brutes are still here. Everybody wanted them nerfed. Just the fact that there's zombies on the top of these patch notes should tell you everything you need to know. So Retail Row is back. Mega Mall has turned into Retail Row, and there are zombies there now.
That's like, it's like, hey man, I made you a sandwich. I made you a sandwich. Oh, that's great. But I took a big shit in it. Oh. I guess thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. Nobody. I don't know. I mean, casual players. I guess I don't know. That's not our cup of tea for sure.
It's been stated strongly. Don't put the fiends in the game.
Yep.
Don't do it. Stop doing it. They've done it twice now, and everyone's bitched and moaned each time. Yep. And now they did it again. Yep. So, I mean, I don't have to say it. People have been saying it all week.
There must be a segment of the population that likes this. It must be that casual, like 8-year-old audience that we don't hear from. That's the only thing that I can think of. But even then, they watch Tfue, and Tfue will crap on it for a whole week. So then, like, they're so impressionable. I don't know.
I'm gonna be straight up. World Cup just passed. I mean, I don't have any friends that are, kids that they say are apparently are the little Timmies, that they try to appeal to. So I don't know what they're talking about on the playground or wherever they hang. I don't even know where they hang out. Okay. But wherever they're talking about, I'm willing to bet like something's got to give, right? Like they got to be at a tipping point now. Like Fortnite's got to be, like when is Fortnite going to be considered uncool? So for the longest time, it was amazing, and it's still the biggest game right now. I mean, let's be granted, it's money making, and the player base is still obviously you can't argue with it. Apex Legends just released solos for a limited time, and I know people are talking about that. People actually have had mixed reactions about it. I've seen, but that's not the point. The point is that there's still other things that a lot of other games that people have been playing. Yeah, a lot more than usually. Yeah. So I know all these streamers, very influential. So when they're bad-mouthing a patch and when they're not playing it and they want Epic to fix their game and Epic seems to not be listening to all of these complaints from people, and then people just go off and they're like, I'm going to play something else. We're going to play something else and have fun because we're not having fun on this. That has to, regardless of if anybody enjoys the zombies or the fiends, enjoys the brutes, regardless of that, if you're somebody who watches streams all the time, you're the only person that you've seen that had anything positive to say about the last few updates is probably Nick A30. Yeah, he's just the most positive guy in the world. So I mean, he's not the best consensus for things like that.
A bastion of positivity.
So, but literally everyone else, nothing good to say. So yeah, how much is this going to unravel this whole thing that has been built up? Like, have we already reached that peak? And is there now going to be a time where you think like now, because parents have been hearing about Fortnite for how long? A year or two?
A year, at least.
At least they've now known about it for a solid year, especially now with the World Cup and that being in big news. They're now. They are Fortnite's cool, like they know that now. But when parents get on board with the cool thing, it's not cool anymore.
Right.
So I feel like Fortnite's it's gotten almost too mainstream now to where now like, and on top of that, you would think they would want the most replayability with all their fan base and their hardcore players, but their hardcore players are bad mouthing the game at every corner.
Yeah,
so
it's not good.
My point is there's a bubble, I feel like, that's about to burst if it hasn't already. And we're seeing the outcome, or could be seeing the outcome really soon if something doesn't change. Just because, this isn't coming just from me. This is just the collective negativity that I've been seeing, and everybody's been seeing it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I mean, that was one of our I'll comment a little bit on this in a second, because that is one of the hot takes that we're going to be discussing here in a couple of minutes. But
pin in it if you want, but yeah. Just want to get it out there. Just had to get it out.
That is totally fair, my friend. I mean, we didn't have the episode last week, so obviously that was the first episode that we could have talked about season 10 in general. So the Brutes, I'm not a big fan of. They've kind of they said that they nerfed them by giving the laser, giving them a laser so that other people can see where exactly they're aiming those rockets. The problem is that they made the destruction time, like, before you kind of had to make an educated guess, like, I'm probably going to die here. I need to get out of this, because you don't have enough time to get away if the thing blows up on you. Now they extended that blow up time by a second. So you actually do have time. You can stay in it right till they take it down and then be like, okay, well, I'm going to just dip now.
Also, that laser doesn't lock on wherever you start shooting. You can look at the ground, charge your lasers, and then right before they fire, look at where you're going to fire. So that targeting laser actually doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. It's definitely a placebo effect. Honestly, the Brutes I'm not a fan. I'll leave it at that for the time being.
I should have sent our producer this clip. My first game for season 10. My first game. I was first arena game I drop in. And I'm like, all right, I haven't played arena in a while, and I got no points. This is gonna be a fun game because it's gonna be a bunch of bots. I might get like 10 kills, maybe. Who knows? You're shaking your head, making it. Yeah. I don't like that reaction, but I couldn't even get on the ground. I was gliding towards Pleasant Park, and one of the Brutes that spawn out of the asteroids, I don't know where they're coming from, out of the sky, hit me in midair and knocked me to 1 HP, and then knocked me all the way down to the ground. I didn't die from fall damage, but I was stuck in the middle of a field, and then that Brute, somebody landed in it, and he shot me with rockets and killed me. That was game one. First game. I couldn't even get my feet on the ground. I'm streaming. I'm like, all right, I'm going to land. I'm getting it kind of low on my landing here. So I was like planning out where I was going to go. And then I get hit with an asteroid and ruined my fun. I didn't even get a chance to try season 10, and it already punched me right
tilted
in the face.
You. Yeah. No, I was shaking my head, not because I didn't think you could get 10 kills at the low thing, but just because I had similar first game Brute experiences. I waited a couple days before I played, and I didn't even know what was going on. I just let me just hop into this without reading anything, without looking at anything. Let me just experience it, right?
It destroyed me with nobody even in it. So what does that tell you? That I was already having a bad experience.
You should have sent us that clip. You 100%. I would have loved to play that. But yeah, I mean, just this patch just did not really fix anything. So you have tilted. You have tilted now. This is kind of a cool one that I kind of like, and we'll get into this a little bit more. But you can't build in tilted, so it feels like very old school arena-y and almost old school Fortnite-y when nobody built to win a fight. You know what I mean? And the nice little change they made in tilted is now if you land there, all the mats that are on the ground there are worth 3 times because you can't mine anywhere. So you do get a little bit of extra materials just on the ground. It's not like you're going to come out of tilted with 0 mats like you were before. But apart from that, I mean, this was just not season 10, as you were saying, has not been great. But let's get back to that once we get into the hot takes. The other big news in the Fortnite community this past week that I want to discuss is Booga getting swatted. Now, yeah. I can't stress this enough, guys. We've already lost a streamer. Somebody died because they thought it was funny to swat somebody, and then that person, the cops came into their house, guns blazing, and they
random
shot
person too.
And it's just, I mean, this was in Call of Duty. They'd gotten into some argument over it, and the SWAT team showed up and killed this player, right? This streamer.
Yeah, this happened a couple years ago.
Yeah, I can't stress how serious this is, guys. This is so dangerous. And, I don't know, maybe you know a bit more than me. Maybe you're a bit better connected with the internet culture than I am, because I can't figure out for the life of me. I've thought about this multiple times. Every time one of these incidents happens, I try and figure it out. what on earth, like, what are people thinking? What makes this funny? What makes this cool? What makes this something worth doing?
I want to say I read that the call that they traced came from, it was an international call. So they it wasn't even local, anything like that. But I mean, that's already, weird enough as it is that somebody's trying to get your information that lives that far away and then trying to use that maliciously in such a way where, it's no joke that at all that you've seen, as you said, seen this happen before, that it ended up being fatal in cases. And these cops, they show up, every county's different. Some of them, in this case, luckily they knew him, knew his family. So they had called before any before any engagement or any knock on the door, anything like that. They called to make sure everything was okay. And they found out quickly that it was a hoax, because, it's also pretty damning when you hear, a threat saying like, oh, I killed someone and I have another person tied up and I have a machine gun. Like, yeah, you're going to get a pretty heavy police response. But at the same time, like, it's a shame when you have those instances, like, for example, the one that happened a couple of years ago with the Call of Duty community, where they don't take it too slow, take it extra serious, because why wouldn't you, getting something, getting a call like that, and then somebody ends up getting shot, just completely random like that. So it's something like this. I mean, it sucks to see. Luckily, he was not, nobody was hurt, anything like that, and there was no threats, or they didn't force themselves in. But I mean, they show up with guns drawn. You heard, if you watch the clip, he says that, like, they come in the house, they still have to come do a sweep, technically, it's really scary, and it's a absolute disrespect and waste of resources and everyone's time.
Yeah. Like, if there's a serious incident that actually requires that team, they can't. They're somewhere else. They're preoccupied, and like, that's. Yeah. I don't know, guys. If you know anybody that thinks this is funny, or that thinks that this is a good idea or would be fun to do, like, I can't encourage you more to tell them that they're completely wrong, and that this is not something that anybody should do. This is really, really not good. And you don't want to see this type of thing in the Fortnite community, or in any community, especially after, the World Cup, all the positive media attention that just went on. And now there's going to be this. So like you said, thankfully they knew his family. They took it a little bit slower, perhaps, but especially in the era of these mass shootings and all this sort of crazy stuff that's going on in the US right now. These types of calls are just so damning. So please, guys, just if you know anybody that thinks this is funny, or like wants to maybe do this, or thinks that it's a good idea, remind them that it's illegal. It's an awful idea. You could end up with somebody being dead, and it's the furthest thing from funny. It's not a joke. But I just felt like it was important for us to kind of address that, considering that, obviously he's been getting a lot of positive public attention, and that this was just such a setback for the Fortnite community in general, and just overall completely not cool. Okay, let's get into the hot takes now. We kind of already started with this first one, but I guess we can kind of, delve into it a little bit more and wrap it up. So Season X is for casuals. Nobody seems to be enjoying the game. So to your point, I think there was a poll on Twitter that actually asked, I think it was Daquan? Yeah. Do you enjoy playing Fortnite? No. 42% of the people said no. Now, 35% of the people say they have nothing else to play, so they're still playing it, right? So it's like, there's a lot of people that clearly, like, they have invested so much time into Fortnite. And I remember when I was a kid, I was the same way with Halo. You just have one game that you play, and that's it. But there's a large percentage, like, that are saying they're not having fun right now. They're just not enjoying the game. And as you were mentioning, that is super not good for the community and for the developers, especially with how much cool stuff is coming out, like the auto chess variants of games like TFT and Dota's auto chess. Like, these are becoming incredibly popular. Like, there's more competition. Battle royales aren't the newest, hottest thing now, right? So it's really like, I know Epic for a long time has tried to balance these two communities, but I think they really have to figure out what their game plan is and be concrete about it, because otherwise they're going to have a serious problem on their hands where they're going to start hemorrhaging users like crazy, as people could decide, I just don't want to play this game anymore, when every couple of weeks, or it seems like, especially at the start of every season, the game just isn't fun. Like, we remember at the start of last season, there was ballers and all this crazy stuff that was just so OP that it made it not fun. Like, you just find a baller, you hide all game, and then you're alive. And hey, you get top 3 or 5 guaranteed, and everybody else is just, stuck. And I feel like this is very, very similar. The brutes are just absolutely ridiculous. The fact that they brought zombies back is ridiculous. I I just don't know what to say. I mean, there's a Reddit thread on this too, like a popular one. And you see like here, Avery replying to this is basically the Reddit thread used this image, and there was a whole bunch of comments off of it, but he basically was just saying that, he misses when the people actually listen to the community. Now, I'm not entirely sure what time he was talking about.
Very long time ago.
Because it's been a while since
they used to do video updates, like dev updates. They stopped that after like season 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, you have such a diverse community that I think there is definitely a truth in the fact that you are never going to make the whole community happy, right? Like that is never going to happen. So I understand that, but at the same time, like you have to keep. I've always, thought that.
Sorry, I'm just reading this Reddit. That's a kind of a crazy analogy, but
Yeah.
He's like, imagine your house is on fire and you can't save your parents. Like, bro, all right, it's a video game, relax. But I can see that he's distraught.
Yeah, I mean, you have to remember, for so many people, this is the game they grew up playing now. This is the game they've invested years in. Yeah, it's pretty dark.
This is how upset people are getting, though.
Yeah,
and what world, Dave, little pop quiz, what universe is Apex Legends from?
Oh.
Titanfall.
Oh.
You know what Apex Legends doesn't have in their game? Giant robots.
They don't.
Why does Fortnite have giant robots in their game? It's not good for Battle Royale. It's not a good idea. And that on now, man, it's like Fortnite lost its identity. It's like 8 things at once. It doesn't know what it wants to be. There's giant mechs. Now there's a POI with zombies again. Oh, there's a POI with hey, howdy, now you can't build, and everyone's got cowboy stuff on. It's like, hey guys, every dev, whatever game you've ever wanted to make, we're gonna put that in Fortnite. So we're all gonna, since we all have all the money in the world, let's just make the biggest, if I may say, clusterfuck of a game that we possibly can make right now. Because why the hell not? Let's let the wheels fall off this thing at this stage because they're so on top right now. It's am I wrong? I feel like this game is like in 10 different directions right now, and it doesn't have an identity right now.
You're not wrong. I mean,
I can't even say that's because of like the season theme. It's just.
So is it okay? So do you think that Epic is going, okay, we just finished the World Cup. Let us cater to the casuals for a couple weeks, make them really happy, give them a bunch of wacky stuff to use. And then, now that season 10 competitions are going to start coming back probably in like a week or two, then we'll kind of roll back into the competitive mode. I think you keep it out of arena. Like it makes it so that the competitive players, if they don't have a practice, like a scrim or something that they can do, they have nowhere to play this game.
Yep.
They have nowhere to play this game. And that is super, super dangerous. I know I've said it a million times on this show, but in its heyday, Halo had a bunch of wacky stuff that didn't matter because I could play the MLG playlist. Mm-hmm. And none of that crap ever made its way in there. It was always tested by pros. Pros approved the settings. Everybody liked it. That was the key. I just don't know.
Frustrating when they say we can't have separate loot pools, but they do for like Team Rumble. Like that's they straight up a different loot pool. So like, why can't they have that for Arena? Why can't they have that for other? They do it for other LTMs. For example, when they have the flying high LTM where everyone has a jetpack, you can't get a jetpack in the other games. Like it's as simple as that. Why do they have to have these broken items in Arena? Nobody would be complaining. That's the thing. If they just put this stuff in solos and duos and regular squads, like people still wouldn't be complaining as much. But the fact that it's in every game mode, like, and they're not going anywhere as far as brutes go, they're not going anywhere, and that's been proven because they're apparently part of like the season-long challenges. So, I mean that should tell you right there that this is something that's it's here to stay. And after this week, the response it's gotten, like hashtag remove the mech, and just so much like negative feedback on Twitter from everybody, and they still haven't responded or done anything about it. Like in terms of
the worrying thing.
I think that's the dagger. Like it's
the fact that we're not getting,
and we got to deal with it now. Yeah,
the fact that we're not getting any feedback or communication from Epic Games directly is a problem, and I think that Reddit comment that just got pulled up was right on the money, because essentially, most game communities, we can be placated if you talk to us. like human beings and tell us what is going on, what is the reason for your decision making. If like I don't understand why every community, and especially like somebody like Epic, doesn't have somebody whose full-time job is to monitor Reddit, be on Reddit all day, 8 hours a day, and respond to the top threads. Respond to the things that need a response. Like, you see the thread, you go, you pull it in, and either you make an official somewhat of a statement, or you acknowledge at least that you're hearing this, or you go, you bring it to the rest of the Epic team and you go, we need to address this because this is the top thread on Reddit right now. This is one of the top threads. We need to figure this out. And instead, that's not happening. And when we don't get any information, it's like, when you were a kid and your parents would just say, because I told you so. It's like, that's not an answer.
Because I said so.
There's no information there. Yeah, exactly. My house or something. Like, that doesn't mean anything. You're just throwing nothing at me and expecting me to understand. And it's just, this is how this feels to me. Like, we're not getting any information. We're being told, well, there's mechs in the game, deal with it. Just in the patch notes. No, not even in the patch notes do they acknowledge the amount of distress that people are going through. Maybe next week's patch notes, but it's bad. And, we can kind of shift this into the second hot take where because you mentioned the POIs, every POI is completely different. And completely different in a mostly garbage way. The only one that I think is kind of cool is Tilted. And I know a lot of people don't like it, but for me, it feels like an old school arena shooter. The only thing that matters is your ability to shoot your gun. And, I wouldn't think if an end game ended there.
If you want season 1 Fortnite, that's what Tilted Town is.
Exactly.
Nobody thought to build. So don't be like, oh, this isn't fun. That's what season 1 was like because nobody built.
Yeah. And it wasn't
cool. Even a thing.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that's annoying is you can't even build like a ramp to get some places. Yeah. You have to go like these super like long, like people used to do that at least.
They troll you for that. Because you can't knock anything down or build anything. So there'll be a chest on like an upper echelon that you can't get to. So it's kind of annoying.
Yeah. That part is frustrating. Can you put down traps? Can you put down a jump pad?
Good question. I'm going to say no.
Probably not.
Actually, I don't know. Yeah, because so that you can't use any traps.
Huh. Okay. Well,
I guess.
It's just you have to land on that chest if you see it at the very top. You have no other way. But essentially, like, that's the only one where I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. Like, I'm okay with this one. But the others are just crap. Like, what's a jetpack doing in the game? A plane? We have the plane back. Are you kidding me?
We do?
Can we not? Yeah, it's in Pleasant.
Are you kidding?
No. I wish.
No, he made that up, right? Wait, like, these are real? When I read this, I thought he was like, oh, what's next? Planes only in usable areas, jetpacks only in junction. I don't think. Tell me these aren't actually.
You might be right. Right. I haven't played Fortnite in a couple of days, so you might actually be right. I might have misread that. But the whole point is that, please, for the love of God, don't continue down this trend. Just don't.
You're gonna kill me, Dave. Like, I'm almost getting a heart attack.
Honestly, I maybe it's because of the coffee I've been drinking, but I was giving myself a heart attack there. I was getting a little worked up. I can't imagine that this is a good idea. Like, you can't have the game be so different because it completely changes how it feels to end the game. Like, even right now, if a competitive game were to play out and end in Tilted, do you have any idea the insanity? Like, what would all the players do? They've spent hundreds, if not thousands of hours working on their building skills, becoming the best that they can at building to utilize that mechanic that is what Fortnite is known for. And you're telling me that there could be a game or a tournament or something along those lines worth money, worth prestige, and they can't use that skill?
Mm-hmm.
So somebody who just plays shooters could beat them? Like somebody who could just hop on CSGO and be like, oh yeah, hop over from CSGO rather and be like, oh yeah, I can shoot a gun and just like laser them. Like, to me, this is even though I'm personally okay with the Tilted one because I can't build that well, so I love it. I understand completely, and I have no issue with them removing it because I get why these people are frustrated. Like, if you dedicated so much time to getting good at this game and you can't do the things that you become accustomed to, I don't know, man. Hopefully we'll have better news for you guys next week. That's all I can say, because this week it just felt like,
yeah,
not good.
It's unfortunate. I mean, I saw a clip with Booga. Actually, he had an end game scenario in a scrim that went through there, and he raged. He raged hard. There's not much you could do. And a little conspiracy nugget for you: the words "mech" and "brute" have been completely banned in the Fortnite BR subreddit. I read that you can't say "mech" or "brute." it's like muted and or like banned. Like if you put that, you get like an auto mod that tells you like, hey, you can't say this.
What?
Mm-hmm. So that tells you even more of just like how much,
dude.
Just saying, you know, it's a big middle finger, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. Like you can't just. What are we in? Like 1970 Soviet Russia?
It's like 1984. Like they're it's like thought crime. Don't even think about the mech.
You can't
say ban
you. You cannot disrespect the game. You cannot disrespect the season 10. It is offense. Like, what are you talking about, dude? That is first Epstein and now this, man. Just conspiracies all over the place right now.
When's Fortnite 2 coming out?
Honestly, at this point, do you want Fortnite 2?
I don't know, man.
Like the way Epic's been taking it, it's like, you know, I don't know. I get it.
I want Fortnite 2017. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Give me that Fortnite.
Even there was parts of 2018 that were pretty good, and even parts this year have been good.
But
parts of this year have been good too.
No, I completely agree. But 2017 was straight up untouchable.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody was bad, and it was so fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're not going back to players being bad ever, which is I'm totally cool with. But we need to figure out a way. Like, I think Epic has to try and stop balancing the game around the fact that there's some players that suck and some players that are gods, and trying to get the players that suck to win games. Like that, develop a better hidden MMR. Like even in normals, you should have a rank. Like this is something that I think a lot of people don't understand. Like in most games, you have ranks, even if the rank isn't displayed to you and it says you don't have a rank. You have a rank.
Yes.
This is why you don't get completely dusted every game you play if you play the game somewhat frequently. They put you against people that have similar skill to you. Epic just needs to do that. And I mean, I realize it's hard. People make Smurfs. People make other accounts. And like, yeah, so one game, that guy's going to carry. But when he destroys everybody and has turbo building and all this sort of stuff that new players just never do, you just immediately kick him out of that and throw him way into a higher level and see if he can hang there. And if he can hang there, then guess what? He's a Smurf. Yep. It's not that hard. You should be able to figure it out in 2 or 3 games, tops.
Games over a decade old we're able to figure out the ranking system. Halo. But I mean, I don't know, like, you know, what's so difficult for games to get it right this time?
I don't know, man. It's sad. Like, I get it. There's 100 players in a lobby. It's a lot. You need to. Do you know what? I think a lot of players would appreciate. We don't need the instant queue. Like the instant queue from back in the day was cool. It took you all of 5 seconds to get into a game. I think people have no problem, especially with the player base the way Fortnite has. I don't think people have a problem with waiting 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Like people are used to that in every other game. It's not a big deal. Just don't.
Used to wait for 60 seconds for Fortnite game to start. Yeah. PUBG, just until recently, I think you had to wait until like for a full minute for a game to start. Yeah, I mean,
if any of you played League of Legends or any game at all at a high elo, like I've spent 40 minutes in a queue for a League game. Okay.
Wow.
Like at the higher elos, it got ridiculous. It got ridiculous. No, you just do other stuff. You're like watching a YouTube video or something. Like you're not like you're just sitting there like,
yeah, just
come on. Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah. You could do other stuff, but like I've been in long queues before, and it's okay. I live, you know, like obviously sometimes it's a little bit annoying. You want to play a game, and it takes you like 30 minutes to find a game. You're like, well, god damn it. But like Fortnite has such a gigantic population that that's not going to be the case. So let's stop pretending that it is, and let's just even this out.
I agree.
Anyway, I think we should stop there before we go.
Before we blow a gasket.
Yeah, before one of us has an aneurysm or something. I think it's just best that we stop. So let's move into clips of the week. Some happy things. Let's watch people kill people in a good way. Yeah, let's do it. All right. This first clip is from none other than the man himself, Fatality.
Yes, that Fatality.
Yes, like Jonathan Wendell, the Quake 12-time world champion. Look at this clip, dude.
You think he hates that he can't move as fast in this game as he does in Quake? Oh, but he's... See, now that he was able to move super fast with the shockwave grenade, look how well he was able to aim. He's so used to that crazy arena shooter Quake. That's nothing for him.
That's nutty. I know, but it's still nutty. I mean, he had a small reaction to it. He was pretty psyched. He put this on his Twitter. He put this on his Facebook. He's like, "Hey guys, check me out. I'm pretty good at this game. You should watch me." But yeah, if you guys don't watch Fatality stream, like, This is, for a lot of young Fortnite fans, they'll have no idea who this is. This is the first esports, like, this guy made more money playing esports in the early 2000s than anybody in Korea by, like, triple.
Yes.
Like, he was so much better than anybody else in the world at Quake. It's not even funny. Like, this guy was a god.
Yeah, he's nutty.
We might have him on the show sometime soon. So
hopefully.
Stay tuned.
What a
Make
clip,
sure
though.
to keep checking back, right? He's ridiculous. The second clip is also from a streamer, Asika.
You got to say the full name. Asika Big Bot 8
No,
0.
That's
6,
the
1,
next
7.
that's the next person.
Oh man, you should have put him on the next line.
I tried. I copied and pasted.
Oh, whoa.
Now that's how you destroy a brute. This clip makes me super happy. I almost want to vote for this clip
Did
just
you
because
snipe
of
him out of the
implications. Nope, he snipes him right when he charges up. This is called timing, my friends.
Yo, that's hilarious. He snipes him out and the thing just jumps without him.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Right? Yo. I've never watched Asika
He's like
stream.
Yoshi, like, hey, bup, you're dead.
I think I'm gonna have to at this point because that was ridiculous, and just the fact that he killed a brute player made me super happy. So
the whole thing is, if he missed that shot, it was not going to end well for him.
Oh no, it would have ended terribly.
Yeah.
I appreciate it even more because of that.
He needed
Like
that.
you just gotta kill that player and be like, you know what? Ain't no brute using for you.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, friend. All right. Clip number 3 is Big Bot 806-17429. And yes,
Jenny, I got your number. Oh, where's he going?
he's going up. Up to the top of the clip of the week rankings. I don't know. I actually don't know what the votes are for this.
I don't know what to think when I see a no skin with 2,900 arena points.
That is called mind games.
It's called a liar, my friend. Oh, man. I love it. He went full on with that because he's like, all right, if I survive this, I'll still get some HP from it, regardless of how low it takes me.
Yeah.
That's a little Cypher PK move. If you build outwards and trap them in there so they can't get out, like if they're shooting into your box, you basically put a roof and a wall behind them and then double trap. It's similar to what he was trying to do there, but
yeah,
nice move. He just ran straight in with the traps, but not a lot of love recently for the traps in the community. I've been seeing a lot of players that get killed by them saying traps don't take any skill. I remember a time when trap kills were pretty
Super
amazing
skill.
Plays.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
like at one point everything, I guess was that way. So I mean, I still love trap kills. It still
Me
takes
too.
it takes thought to do that. It shows that got your head together, that you're not panicking. You're able to pull that off, especially when you're getting shot at in close range. Love the clip.
Yeah, me too. Big fan. Final clip, RK_2nd.
Ooh, nice bunny hop. Almost missed the door. Oh, what's he doing? Shooting his knees out.
Shooting them knees. You can't run away if I shoot your knees. Imagine this game actually worked like that. Like you shot somebody in the leg and they had impaired movement speed.
Oh,
I think
man.
that's called too realistic.
Oh, man. Some Metal Gear Solid physics. Wiping out two.
He's getting shot again.
He's so dead.
Nah, he ain't dead. He ain't dead, fam. He's gonna clean
like
these
I've
players up for
seen
good
this
measure.
clip before.
And pop!
Oh, that was nasty.
Good day, sir.
I feel like we've looked at a clip in this exact same area before.
Oh,
Somebody
yeah,
was fighting in that basement, fighting their way out.
Yep, we
That
have.
guy that ran down, he's like, I'll stop him. Don't worry, boys. That was priceless.
Well, Twitch Majestics, I hope you weren't streaming because you just
And
got
you know what?
like a fool.
That guy got way too overzealous. He knew the guy was hurt, but that flick. Can we talk
was
about that
nice.
flick though? For
That
a
was a
second?
real nice flick,
It was
right?
pretty nice
That
because
was a nice shot.
all that guy had to do was look at him and he was done.
Oh yeah, 4 HP.
Done. Oh my god!
Pop!
And he had to hit that shot perfectly.
Oh yeah. Like he's got the blue combat, which is a good gun, but
Yo,
not
he doesn't
fantastic.
he doesn't even panic shut the door. I
Nope.
love it.
Nope. He was like, he's like, I want to be able to see this player the whole time, and I'm not giving up the advantage. So now that we've seen all the clips, it is time to reveal our clip of the week. Drum roll, please. Dun 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 dun. Asika.
Oh, okay.
I'm upset right now. There's no love for my boy Fatality.
Yeah, I agree.
What is going on here?
I think a
And
lot
also
of
no love for RK. What the hell?
I think it's just because this is an anti-brute clip. I think that's why so many people loved it, and that explanation works for me.
Yeah, it works for me too. I actually know that Asika retweeted this as well. So follower bias, maybe a little bit, but it's okay. But it was a landslide victory, and to be honest, I'm totally cool with this because you use a brute. I am not your friend. I am not your friend. Look at that shot. Like that was so perfect.
And because that's a projectile weapon, not hit scan. So yeah, he could not have timed that any better.
That was fantastic. That was great. Do we have any questions from chat today?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Anything? All right. I didn't get told about anything. I don't have the stream open right now. My computer's been acting really weird lately. I don't know what's going on. I gotta check. I gotta look into it.
Let's just be real. There are no questions from the community except why. Just why, Epic? Just why? That's the only question this week. Hopefully we'll get it answered soon.
Yeah. And there are no traps in the new Tilted. So yeah, you can't even use a launch pad. You got to land there. Okay. Ouch. Well, thank you for watching.
Thank you.
And thank you for still being a somewhat fan of Fortnite, even if you're not as big of a fan as you were 3 weeks ago. We understand.
We are so angry. We're this passionate because we love the game and we want to see the game succeed. You know, that's really what it is at the end of the day. We love this game and we want to feel like we felt when we got our first victory royale, when we had that love for the game. We want to feel that way again. And the game is just as far as you could get from that state right now.
It's so true. Epic, please help us. We want to have answers for these fine people. We want to be able to tell them it will all be okay. We want to be able to soothe them and tuck them into sleep, all that sort of good stuff, you know? And instead, we're out here crying. Hopefully next time. Feels bad, man. But you guys stuck around. Feels good, man. So we appreciate it. See you guys next time.
Take care, guys.